Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a psychic medium healer, numerologist, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the readings portion of the Psychic Hour today. It's great to see everybody. Come on in, pop down your questions, and I'll feel into them. And this is the reading show. So a lot of people come in and they ask like, oh, are we going to do readings? Can you feel into my energy? Can you sense if someone's around me? And so that is the purpose of the show, right? Because there's interviewing and then there's just like sharing gifts. So welcome. I always talk about a topic for about 10 minutes before I go into readings. But if you want to pop down your questions, it's a great time to do it because when I get to readings, away we go, right? So Janice, hello. Yes. Tracy, hello. Thank you. Yes. Everyone put down your numbers because I do numerology and also I pull cards. It's just whatever I feel drawn to when I am picking names and picking a modality to feel into the names. Hi, Courtney. Hello, everybody. Yes. Come say hi, pop down your numbers, pop down your question. So, okay. The topic that I wanted to get into was like signs. And signs are really important because they give meaning. That's why we're like, what is the sign? It's symbols and signs of the universe. Same thing, same concept. And we're always looking for that esoteric nudge. We're always looking for just information to be clear to us, to be dropped to us. And really, I like to talk about this a lot. Hello, Holly. The whole universe is truly a calling card. The whole universe is a way that we can communicate and listen and understand in a way where it is constantly giving us signs and symbols. And so we go from intuitive to psychic, and of course, mediumship too, when we start to branch out and go, all right, I know that I've been getting signs or I'm curious about getting signs. I'm going to start learning. I'm going to start surrendering, learning, doing detective work. There's many different angles on how you come into this work. Many different thought points. The further on you get, the more it's all the same. But, sometimes in the beginning, we come in with different curiosities and interests. And the bridge from jumping from intuitive to like psychic or mediumship is saying, I'm going to start being, a conduit. I'm going to start being a receiver of these signs and messages where I don't just ask for 3 and keep asking. I start learning about how I can utilize symbols, utilize signs. And that's why people get into intuitive development. It's just one of the ways. Intuitive development, psychic development, mediumship development. They start speaking the language of spirit. They start speaking the language of the universe. They start listening and being fluent in some, beginner's conversation of the universe. I mean, you could argue that even the best and brightest of the psychic mediumship world are still beginners at conversations with languages of the universe. But the commitment is started. And so cards are one great way to kind of get your feelers out, to start to put your finger in the water and test the temperature and engage things, because it's a system where you just have, I'll just take out some cards right now. It's a system where, you have designed or someone else has designed 50 so cards of signs to be smack dab in your hand. Because before, we haven't been raised necessarily to look for signs unless our parents did raise us like that. And our mind's all over the place. But when you actually start to focus on, okay, I want to start decoding signs, and you take a modality such as card reading, and you're like, I have a stack full of signs, and you put it in your hand, you start becoming more fluent. Your focus is that of finding signs. You have to, that's the whole thing. Like, intention, focus, energy flows where intention goes, that famous saying. If you want to learn about signs, you have to then focus on signs. You have to say, they're real. Let me kind of play around with, my system and how I receive signs, because everyone receives signs differently. And so you do sometimes have the help of modalities to help you get accustomed to certain things. It's not the only way. It's not the only way. You can just start doing a lot of practice readings, but you start listening to the signs. And you surrender to the signs and you speak about the signs. And, in the beginning stages, it is, let's say, sometimes not easy to understand all the signs, because the spirit world or whatever tool that you're using, you have to figure out what that sign means to you. It's not in the instruction book. Yeah, sometimes that can help, but it's not anyone's way to do it. You have to kind of learn your own. You can be inspired by other people. You can read similarly the way that other people do, but you're going to be confused because spirit is trying to unprogram the way that you've seen the world. There's going to be that, because they could send you, a picture of someone and they're holding a bunch of yellow daffodils, and that could be the symbol of friendship. I'm just making an example, right? The yellow daffodils and the offering of friendship. But maybe growing up you were allergic to yellow daffodils, and so your experience of that is unpleasant and you feel uncomfortable with the showcasing of yellow daffodils. Now spirit knows that, of course, and they probably would pick that symbol to get friendship across because they know your history. And they do work with who we are, what we know, but they will pick a moment in time when you're ready to see if your mind is flexible enough to let go of one meaning in the symbol and embrace another meaning. Sometimes they go, how well are you willing to listen? All right. Or let me really steer you into the truth. Or how willing are you to let go of a perception or experience or a memory so you can actually walk into and step into the truth. Again, spirit usually doesn't do that left and right, but they do it enough where we are now then more in commune with spirit. We are more in a more foundational, secure type of communication rather than just a surface symbol, a surface memory. We're more into the spirit's energy, or our sitter's energy if they are of the living. So let's see. Sounds like meditation we did in Aikido. Cool. Yeah, I'm curious about that. You said this sounds like a meditation you did in Aikido. I'd be really curious. Aikido is a type of martial art. That sounds really cool. I always like to learn about how people utilize meditation. Right. Just looking over everything. So I'm going to switch over into readings in just a second, and we will see what we get, right? If anyone has a question too, sometimes it's great to talk about psychic development questions. Great, why not, right? Pop down what you're curious about. So let's transition. Hopefully that talk on signs and symbols gave you some perspective, because I know that's an important thing to talk about. Everyone is always like, signs, symbols, how do I find them? How do I get them? How do I talk to the universe? How do I talk to spirit? And it's just like, you literally put your intention about learning about signs and symbols, and how your brain interacts with receiving information from that, how your feelings and your energy receives information from that. And then away you go and practice, practice. Of course, it's more than that, but you really have to believe it and you really have to make a commitment. And that's how you graduate from being intuitive to being psychic and to exploring your mediumship journey, depending on what you want to develop. Okay. So I'm gonna drink some liquid. I came in earlier with a full cup of tea, and somehow I didn't set it on the table right. I think there was like a crystal on the table, and went just spilled everywhere. Luckily, I was able to clean it up. But it's funny how the it's funny how things go sometimes. So I'm just like my pants are just like in tea, drenched in tea on one leg. I like it though. Like you start your readings, you start your day with something kind of like to jolt you, to wake you up, like, welcome to the arena. And you're like, oh, yes, hi. Courtesy of hot tea. Okay. Bushido said meditation on elements and our surroundings. Oh, yes. So, Bushido, absolutely. It's so important to slow down and understand our environment and elements because they're made up of actually signs and symbols, and they're all around us every day. So, the environment that we are in, whether it's our bedroom, house, work, place of work, or whatever activity we frequent, our energy frequents there. And we have chosen that environment, or we are in that environment currently due to something to do with our own energy. And to feel what it feels like, to understand what it is. If it's not of our own choosing that we are in that environment, let's say if we are still transitioning in life, um you meditate of what brought you here. If you are an adult, there are certain things that brought you there. If you're more of a child, yes, you're transitioning out and embracing more of how your free will and autonomy works in the world. But there are signs and symbols of why you're there, and there is energy that you are drawn to, attract to, and that's why you operate on that level of how you live. And that's how you do psychic readings, honestly. You go into the person's energy and you're aware of the environments that they put themselves in, what it feels like. Wow, wherever you go every day, once a week for a hobby, it's feeling like the energy of a hobby. It feels really positive, or it feels really like um exasperating. It feels depressing. Okay. So that's what a psychic does. They go into the person's field and they get signs and symbols of what they need to focus on, and there's certain feelings behind it. Well, if you just think about it, you go into a room and that you frequent every day. How does this house make me feel? How does this place make me feel? That's energy information of what you are co-creating and participating in, and that's how psychics read energy. They go into your field and they pick up exactly how you feel, exactly what the environment means to you, if you have an accurate, if you have a good connection. Okay. So cool, cool, cool. Green tea is great. I got some peppermint. If Oh my gosh, if I had caffeine, I wouldn't be able to concentrate. A lot of psychics and mediums, just talking about caffeine for a second, they actually I've heard from actually like really well and accomplished, like bigger names, um that they need caffeine to focus sometimes. And I'm like, "Oh, isn't that interesting?" And I've heard that from other psychic mediums too. It's almost like that caffeine perks them up. For me, it does exactly the opposite. If I drink caffeine, even if it's green tea, because that's a little gentler, even if it's green tea, maybe I could get away with matcha, but I really wouldn't do it around this time for me personally. I'm so sensitive to caffeine, it makes me too hyper, and then my brain cannot focus, and you need focus within this work. So, but for some people, caffeine actually does help wake them up and focus. So, whatever caffeine does to you, know that it's going to mirror the way that you focus and are able to feel balanced within your energy. Caffeine works for some people. I just find that fascinating. Okay, that's a conversation within itself. All right, away we go, everyone. So let's see who is first. We have Janice. Janice, thank you, Janice. Does my friend's boyfriend have any type of feeling towards me? Thanks a lot. Okay, so that is a complicated question as well. Is your friends with friend? So I'm gonna link into the situation through your own energy. Okay. Then we'll see if we can work with anything beyond that. Because you just presented me a question with three people involved. And it's important to consider all the energies involved because that's what makes up the decision. Three people with free will. So I'm going to connect to you, Janice, and see what I get. Interesting. Okay. So I feel like this is a situation where there's a lot of it's kind of like there's a lot of overthinking attached to it. This is not a clear-cut situation. I feel like there's a lot of am I reading the signs? We talked about reading the signs, but it's a lot of things said unsaid kind of. It's a lot of things where I feel like the boyfriend involved, like he's done some things to insinuate that you feel like he has feelings towards you. There hasn't been anything clear cut. There's been like actions that you are, you consider them to be like, what's going on here? And um his girlfriend, your friend, is not completely aware of the situation, but does have kind of some of these considerations like, okay, is there more going on here? So there's a lot of things where people have had assumptions and feelings, but they're being it's not clear. It's really unsaid. Okay. Oh, and you gave me your birth date too. How nice. So I can look into that too as well. And I feel like this situation is there's a lot of it just feels kind of like messy because people don't know what they're doing. Okay. Like it feels like see that like that's the whole thing. Like every time I tune into it, it's kind of like this kind of murkiness of yeah, people sometimes aren't in control of their emotions fully, so they'll do stuff like they might flirt, they might think things, they might have an impulse, and it's because maybe they thought someone was cute or pretty, or maybe they were feeling a certain type of way that day, but they don't really know what they're doing entirely. They're kind of just being young, and they're kind of just being not they're not fully thinking through their actions. Like sometimes how you do something sometimes and someone asks you, well, why did you do that? And you're just like, I don't know. I kind of wanted to, I wasn't really thinking about it that much. So, people are doing things, yes, but they're not really thinking through their actions. And that's really important. I feel like this is a little bit, it's like kind of messy. Okay. So my advice regarding is that you just know what you want to do, have your boundaries, and if you want a certain outcome, that you remove yourself from the confusion of it. Because if you do want a certain outcome, and you don't participate in making this confusing and not clear, then it will kind of work itself out. And then people will do what they will do, and their true colors will show, and you can kind of go, oh, well, that's what was going on. And you need to give that kind of space and time. So you need to, if you feel like someone is interested or flirting, or if you got kind of like this weird feeling from somebody, and you're curious about like, well, what did that mean, and does this person want me, and what about my friend involved? So do you see how like kind of complicated it is? I just step back and continue to see, if you observe those things, continue to see what actions he will take and your friend will take. And that will clear up the situation with what you feel like is present with what you're seeing before you, with the dynamic of their relationship. You'll see really clear if he's, you know, flirting and looking around, or specifically interested, or if it was a misunderstanding. I feel like there's a lot of just people don't know what they're doing. Okay. um I got a card that is about tearing apart. Okay. So it's about restarting energies. So restarting energies with yourself, restarting energies with your friend. um I feel like there is too much stress and strain, and you guys kind of have to just like, what's the original reason you were friends in the first place? Maybe it doesn't make sense anymore. Maybe, and if it does, you guys just kind of need to cool it down and get your priorities straight, because this situation will tear you apart. It absolutely will. Right now, I feel like your head too isn't as clear. Like you're pushing yourself too much. There's been some issue with like with money. Finances. And so it's like kind of like when our world is kind of a little bit uncertain, when other uncertain things happen to us, we go, "Well, what the heck is going on? What's really going on?" And really it's kind of like, just tend to your corner, just work on your neck of the woods. If you do really have curiosity in what the relationship or what his intentions are, if you just step back, you're going to see it more clearly, right? It's kind of almost like if you are creating something or looking at something, even in an art gallery, you kind of have to step back and see the bigger picture to go, huh, well, that's what the artwork represented. And I feel like there's the same is with this situation. So I hope that makes sense to you. Maybe I can pull one number of yours too as well. Let's see. So, okay, I know what you mean. Yeah, it feels weird. He had some actions in front of her. So weird, right? I'm worried about money. Yeah. Um, I feel like, so here's the thing, like when people are stressed out, so whether it's your friend's boyfriend, your friend, whether it's you, what happens is, if you're already stressed out, if you're already kind of off kilter because life is throwing some curveballs your way, as soon as another curveball comes up, like this boyfriend being a little bit too flirtatious and not having understanding about what he's doing and what he's creating, um it will throw off even more. So remember how I was talking about like energy finds like energy? Like when we're looking for signs and symbols of the universe, we kind of graduate by, committing to signs and symbols of the universe. Well, like energy is happening here. Like you're already like, okay, I'm life is a little weird, I'm a little stressed out, and so it's going to attract kind of more situations like that. I'm not saying that's the pattern of things entirely. I'm just saying life has sent you another weird situation where you're like, oh my God, like, oh my God. And so instead of focusing on the kind of the chaos and the discord and the confusion, um, it's time for you to step back and take charge of your energy, because throughout life, you might get more weird situations like that happening with people and circumstances. And if your energy is balanced and it's in a good place, you're going to be like, whoa, I clearly feel like that is weird. And I'm addressing the situation. And I'm talking to my friend about it, because you're in the energy of clarity, and you're just like, yeah, I don't do weird. I don't do convoluted. I don't do mixed up. I don't do a situation that makes me feel uncomfortable. And if your energy is very balanced within your life, you kind of just go, I'm taking charge of this. I take charge of other things in my life. I'm taking charge of this situation, right? But if we're a little bit unbalanced and kind of an oddity comes our way, we're like, gosh, what's going on? And we feel more imbalanced. So don't let this guy or the confusion between the girlfriend which is your friend and the guy and their inability to kind of see what's going on and be clear what's going on and your odd feelings. Don't let that confuse you further. Again, take a step back, get your energy in line. He can't rock your clarity if you are clear. Okay. And just continue to observe because I just like he's kind of immature and he doesn't realize what he's doing. He's just seeing, he's just throwing his thoughts and emotions, his impulses around. And you kind of go, that's weird for my friend. And see what's up with your friend too. There's a reason they're together, like attracts like. It's not a surface thing. It's just see what's going on with your friend, see what's going on in the situation if you want, but ultimately just take a step back away from it. I hope that makes sense. Okay. She said, "Okay, then I'm not gonna think about it too much and just leave it there and avoid him because actually doesn't have to be in my life." Yeah, yeah. It's just like it's not relevant. It's you don't have to avoid a situation necessarily unless you feel like it means if it means really nothing, like just like it's not worth your time or energy. But if it is a problem that comes back up again, just address it. Address it like address it with your friend or address it with if he looks at you weird and be like, hey, I'm not comfortable with what you're doing, or that's strange. And if he tries to laugh it off or whatever, he's not like a very compassionate, responsible person with his emotions. So again, if you need to address it, you'll find out ways to do it from a sense of clarity, but until that time, it's really your friend's problem, and it's really, the boyfriend's issues personally, and step back. Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna focus on me before anyone else. Thanks a lot again. Yes, please, 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 please. And I hope everything made sense. Thank you. Alright, cool. Let's pick another let's pick a and then you're a 5. Oh, the last thing I'll say, Janice, because I did say I'll pull one of your numbers. Janice, you're an attitude 7. I'm just gonna give you one number. Um, and that means that you're really good, you're really observant, you're really perceptive. So you can read between the lines of things. Um, and because of that, uh, what happens is sometimes you already have your answer. Sometimes you already have your answer with what's going on. Maybe don't know all the reasons of why, but just you're really good at stepping back. And when you step back and you have a moment of quiet and consideration, not just this, but in anything in life, when you have the time to have your alone time and really problem solve, my gosh, you are quite creative and you're quite brilliant. So, for other things in your life, yeah, it's time to go within, it's time to consider, and it's time to use the brilliance of your mind again to really be the wizard of fixing some of the obstacles in your life. Okay. Tracy is next. Okay. So she's August 18th, 1973. Okay, cool. Tracy. We're back to like that whole um attitude 8. I don't know if I talked about your attitude 8 before. I can't always remember every single detail, but I feel like I did talk about it to some capacity, but I want to talk about it again. So, attitude 8, when someone's attitude 8, they're kind of naturally stubborn. Um, they they're very perceptive with how they see the world from a stance of quality, from a stance of how things can be done. So they are overachievers or they're hard on themselves, but they have like these really strong stances on things. Okay. And the reason why you believe what you believe is because you've done a lot of research, a lot of thinking, a lot of time and energy is spent on certain opinions and considerations that make up you. And the reason why I talk about this is because eights, like, in order for them to operate, they either need a lot of time because they're like, I'm not doing this fast. I want to do this the right way. I want to do this the best day. So their belief systems are very concrete and meaningful to them. And it's not just something that you pick up and go, oh, that sounds like a good idea. No, this is why an eight can be unbendable or stubborn, right? Because there's a lot of meaning attached to a lot of good meaning, a lot of solid reasons. Okay. So with an eight, I always encourage a person to be open minded. Be open minded because there's every time you talk to a person, there is a chance to be inspired. There is a chance to see your point of view from even a different angle. You're a master of your craft, you're a master of what you do. If you just allow energy to come to you and show you at it from a different angle. And so what happens is you can grow leaps and bounds and go, oh my God, that was the missing link. Or, oh, I get it even better. Or, oh, I see how I can fine tune things. Or, oh my gosh, I just understood the other side of the argument. I understand how the other person thinks now. And you can be like really this multifaceted and flexible person in your communications, not because you abandon what you believe in. It's because you can actually have such a rich and full bodied perception of what you believe in. So that's what I offer, just perspective. And if I hope that makes sense in some way, but it can help because sometimes eights get like kind of frustrated and they can like shut down with people around them, or they can be really like hot and cold, or excited or not excited about life. Kind of, it's almost like eights have eight is a number of power, so there's these like such intense swings with the way they operate. And your attitude number is all about how you communicate, it's all about how you interact with the world. So that's why I just encourage that to you, to increase flexibility, creativity, and to open your heart more to people. I do think you're an open-hearted person. I just know that sometimes, like, I'll give you an example of why I'm saying this. I just know sometimes I'll see somebody do something or say something and I'll go, oh my God, that's insane. Like, that's insane. Why would they say that? You know? And it's not because I'm close-hearted that I think those things. It's because I'm just like frustrated by why a person would think that, say that, do that. And I just go, this is like ridiculous, right? But kind of when I open up my heart even further, when I open up my mind even further, I try to kind of learn about their perspective and their point of view. And um I go, okay, all right, let's see what's going on here. And it adds more to the situation. It adds more to keeping my fire, rather than frustrating and depleting my fire. Okay. Because I think sometimes when we're angry and frustrated at people or situations, it can like snuff our fire out. That's what I'm saying. And there's a way for your curiosity, there's a way for, because you care so much and you try so hard, there's a way where you can work with that energy to keep your fire strong rather than, like shut down ups and downs. I hope that makes sense. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So that's what is coming in for off the top. Let's see. You're worried about your health. Okay. All right. Let's tune into how we can tune into you. Okay. So I got the card, the time game. And so this is important to talk about because the time game, huh, it's kind of like, I'm not going to overthink it. Maybe you're in the energy of overthinking how you handle some things. But I what I felt like was you can't overthink what's going on with you. You have to kind of meet it head on. You have to meet it head on, and you have to take care of things. And if it costs some money to take care of things, um, get it taken care of. We only have one life. Yes, research and change doctors if you're not happy with doctors, but if you want some answers and to look into things, like, you are worth it. And if you are in a better space, you're going to be able to handle things differently going forward. So when I got the card, the time game, it was basically like, don't overthink things, like, really get focused on investing and putting things into your health. And I got the communications card. So it's like, if you put focus on this, if you start talking to other people, answers will come up. It's just there needs to be the vibration of talking about it, putting it out in the open. Um, Speaking and receiving. The communication is all about speaking and receiving. So if you speak, hey, I have a problem. I need to look into this. This has been an issue. I'm not quite sure of what it is, but I'd like to get into it so we can hopefully get some answers, and I can heal my body, and I can um, hopefully have a better situation. What happens is the energy meets you with somebody out there. Somebody heard you, spirit heard you, and they're going to connect you to where you need to go. And they're going to make your efforts and your merits valid. Okay. So the time game, look at it, the communications card, it has to be put out into the open. It can't be on the back burner. And I do feel like it's going to help. You putting it in the forefront is going to help you find your whole. It's going to help you get together again. But right now, I feel like this health thing has caused a lot of stress. I'm not tuning into your physical body. Forgive me. If it comes up, I do. For right now, I'm not getting something with your physical body. Again, if I do, I scan things, I feel things. But sometimes I just talk about emotions and the situation and how people are approaching, right, working with their health. And so that's kind of the energy I am in today, for whatever reason I am. And I do feel like this could really, really, like, tear you down if you don't have help in this. And that's why you have to have the communications, and that's why you have to take it seriously as a more time sensitive thing. And I do feel like it gives you a lot of peace and a sense of a whole. You putting emphasis on your health, because I feel like you haven't done that. I feel like there's a repeated history of you kind of put health on the back burner, if you can understand that, to break the habit. Yeah, yeah. So it's like, that's the whole thing. It's like sometimes we overthink things, and it's just like, what's wrong with just talking to somebody who has literally the devotion of their entire life to other people's health? You got to find good people. It's all about the right person. It's all about good people. But sometimes you just got to jumpstart it, bite the bullet, and talk to somebody, because they'll lead you down the path. Just because you start with somebody doesn't mean you stay with somebody. You have to get on the path and get people helping you out with, like, and maybe you're already doing this. Maybe I'm tuning into what you're already doing, but there's emphasis on starting the process, or being involved in the process, where you have to get, like, blood workups, you have to get checked, and it's just like, that needs to happen to find the answers, and you will have to deal with being in that place. You will. And so if you haven't started the process, you have to start the process, and you have to put more emphasis on it. And you can actually make things not as severe the quicker that you look into things and get your answers. I hope that makes sense. So don't overthink something that someone else is an expert in, um, because they might open the door to something you never even thought about, or they might open the door to saying, we got to look at this. Got a doctor appointment later in the month for blood work. Good. Okay, you've already started it. Good. So it's just, yeah. You know in your heart instantly, if you like a person, if you trust where they're going with things. If you, and I'm going to say it again, if you don't like the person that you wind up working with, just switch. just switch over. Not all doctors are bad, not all, every situation is horrible. And I say that because I feel like there's mistrust with doctors in the past, not good experiences. Like, you haven't always looked in your health, and when you have, you're like, why am I here? I don't like the vibe of this person. Can you understand that? So just keep one after the other, more steps, and stay focused, and have people around you, like your husband, family, encourage you with these steps and celebrate these steps, because I love the fact that you have made an appointment and you are going forward. So if you can understand kind of like what I'm saying with anything, just give me a heads up on a thumbs up on that. Okay. All right. He'll be there. Yes, has had problems with past doctors. Yes. Again, yes. So Bushido, like, seriously, after her first appointment, take her out somewhere, or cook something for her, or get her a surprise. Like, let's celebrate the notion of being proactive with health. Even if there isn't the answer quite yet, celebrate the energy of being proactive for health. Because if you're in the energy of being proactive for health and you celebrate it, that energy opens up. And if you're proactive for help, the energy finds you and gives you answers for help. What you seek, you will find. So celebrate that, encourage that, build that vibration up. Okay, awesome. All right. Let's see where I want to go. Who is next? Sometimes you got to sing about it. Let's see. Holly says she was next. Anything career related, I should know. Anything career related, I should know with Holly. Okay. Did you put down your numbers, Holly? I'm gonna look. Gotta scroll to make sure that people didn't put down things later. Okay. Holly. All right. I want to sing. I don't know if Holly likes to sing or something. I have no idea. It's kind of funny. Sometimes when we do things, we go, where is that coming from? Right? I have no idea where it's coming from. All right. Holly, Holly, Holly. Holly, Holly, Holly. All right. Just kind of tune into the situation. Yeah. Okay. So what the energy that I'm feeling around Holly is kind of like, I don't know if she's between jobs right now, or if she's not really excited about what's around her, but I feel like kind of like this dip in energy. And I go, Holly, like, why are we in places we don't like? Or you know, why why aren't we finding something we like? That's Those are the two biggest questions. They sound like very simple, but those are kind of the two biggest questions. And I feel like Holly is a person who wants to get out of the house. I feel like Holly is very connected to her family, though. She's a helper with her family. She's interactive with her family, but it's important for her to get out of the house because she likes helping others. So not just with the family situation, but she likes being proactive. She likes offering, her energy towards just other people. I feel like it's such a good feeling for her to just be talking to other people in different environments, learning about other people. Sometimes we learn about the world through our job. We really do. When we learn about things about people we would never, we come home from dinner, excuse me, from work, and at dinner we're talking about, I heard this from this person, or since I was in the shop today, I was able to see this went down in the city. That was like right across from my parking lot. Like, we can live life. Sometimes it's the vehicle through our jobs. It gives us exposure. It gives us a reason to like really just be involved, right? Not just in the environment of the work. So I feel like that's really good for her. I feel like I just wanted to give her that notion of it's actually good for you to be working because it like lifts up your energy, okay, and it gives you so much. So if you're between jobs right now, know that it's important for you to get out there. I just know there was like this lull or sinking feeling with finding a job though that's like more positive for you, I feel like the missing link is oh, Holly's giving me her numbers. Thank you. I feel like the missing link is environment. Honestly, I feel like wherever you are, um, have a job, just not sure where I should be, had another job offer, a test. And I do really feel like the issue is environment though. I feel like, can you understand like the people around you in your job? It's not like there's a negativity at play where you're like, I don't like the people, I have to get out. It's kind of like neutral. Like it's just kind of neutral. But again, I feel like this lull because it's just like you're kind of like, and it's just like if you're not loving where you're at, yeah, I would look into leaving. I would look into leaving. Um, but before you make the jump, it's really important this job test that this other place is offering you. Like, are you even excited about going there? Yeah, it's an ability to jump ship, and that's good to keep energy fresh and going. That's really good for your energy because you are an attitude five, and attitude fives they need to have things change or they get bored. They get bored. Okay, like variety is a spice of life for your energy, so you have to eat different things, like not the same thing over and over again. You have to, again, meet this new people, being in different environments to be happy. So I do encourage a change, absolutely, because I'm not liking the energy where you are. And I feel like you are bored on top of it. It's like want, want on steroids. If I think about it kind of from different, like, again, it's not like the super obvious thing that everyone would know about, of course, but it's how you feel on the inside. And so if you feel like that on the inside, it has to be acknowledged like it's super obvious. Like I'm getting all the signs because it's like you have the compass of your life, so that's kind of what I want to talk to you about. Like I feel like sometimes you look at external things to think, oh, is it time, is it time, and it's like you actually already knew it was time, and I want to continue to encourage that feeling to be built up within you. Bored, yes, lol, that's what I'm trying to do is find something in a new background, but trouble with not having experience in whatever is what I'm going for. Yeah, yeah. And I do really feel this. It was almost like you wanted to break out, but there aren't options quite to break out. And even with like this testing, like that you're being offered, I feel like it would still be like quite similar. It wouldn't be something very different. Can you understand that? Like this company that approached you for the test. I really do think, you'd have to kind of really kind of press the restart button, which I love for you, by the way. It's exciting, it feels good. It's just it's so different that you kind of have to be, what do I want? What commitment am I gonna do to go on this ride of life? Um, I do feel like ultimately you need a change. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to give you short term and long term. So short term, I feel like you need to get out of where you're going. I feel like look around. Um, you know, of, uh, of course, like you'll jump seamlessly to one job to the next. Don't just like quit or anything, but you know that. Um, and so the short term is to look around, be, mentally and feeling wise, be committed. Okay, I'm staying here until I find something better right now. That's the short term. And I really want you to look into creating opportunities. So reach out to places you think you'd like, that you like the environment, that you like the culture. It's the culture and the environment. And you could actually, when you step into the room, or if you step into the building, you go, wow, I dig it. I dig it here, because it will help your sanity of why you want to keep showing up at a place. Like you have to love a place if you keep showing up at it. So that's the short term. You're like, wow, this 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 environment's really rocking. Like I dig it here. So that's like the physical environment. I know that sounds a little weird, but work with me here. The long term goal is, it's I would like for you, and this is really important. The reason I'm talking about this, and it's more like of a free will capacity, because like I actually see in my feeling in my mind, I go, I want something different, but I don't have quite the skills to jump to where I need to go. So I feel that very strongly. So what happens is, there's things that come up in our future, and then there's things that we have to create through free will. So you're at this crossroads where, if you want to, it's time to pick up a skill. Like, it's time to either invest in a new skill, it's time to have some time and energy put into a new skill. It's time to pick up a new skill. And that's going to take a hot second. So again, we have this short-term plan, and then also we have this long-term plan of, once you get this skill or know what you need to do something that you want to do, that's how you go into the next phase of life. And I feel like the universe is really encouraging you to open up what is possible for you. And you have 5 energy, so you could actually learn it really fast. You just have to make a commitment where you're like, okay, this is going to take some, I'm going to get it done fast, but it's going to take some time to learn something so I can do something totally different. And that's the part you have to commit to. Okay. All right. And I I feel like I it's not clear what that is. I'm going to be honest, because I feel like I have to make the decision. So, Holly, I have to make the decision of what would be fun. What do I want to dabble in on? Um, Let me look at your life path for 2 seconds. So you're an attitude 5, and then you're 6. Okay. Okay, so cool. Man, you're really good with people. Okay. Yeah, you're really good with people. So, anytime someone has a life path too, so you put 7, 7, 1995. Anyone someone has a life path too, they're very good with bringing like peace and harmony to other people, and so they're great as therapists. They're great as like social workers. They're great even as lawyers. They're great at providing like damage control within people. So it can be in multiple senses. You could just, be in charge of people, and you don't need a super technical field. And your job is to just be there for people, right? And to help, I guess, make things more calm in situations. So you have a lot of emotional value that you can give to other people. Okay. So I'm going to give that to you. Working with people would help you, but you need something where you wouldn't be bored, and you need something that's not too, like, this is the last thing I'm going to say. Here's the thing. Like, I don't know if it's your current job, but I feel like your mind is really good, like, with multiple tasks. It's like, you can do a lot of things at once. So you've been kind of like tasked to do that for other people, different capacities. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like you're at a place where gain a skill, and then you don't have to be behind a computer. Like, don't be behind a computer unless you're there for a minimal amount of time. Don't be behind a desk where you have to sit down. Like, I want to see you active. I want to see you active with people. If you have to have a computer, if you have to have a desk, it's like, so be it. But like, if you're there the majority of the time, that job is not the place for you. You have to be hands on with people. Okay, I hope that makes sense. That's what I have now, a desk job. Yeah, that's why it doesn't work. You're good at it though. Can you understand that? Like, people don't like you're how can I put it? You get the job done. Yeah, like, you get the job done. Like, and people don't they you're good at it, but it doesn't make you happy. It's not what you want to do. And the reason why you're good at it is because you're a quick learner. You're a quick learner. But again, I want you to look into getting a new skill, being around people, being more hands-on. It's better for your energy, and you will be less bored, and there will be more lessons around you, like in the throw of things. So I'm sorry I didn't answer what that job will be, but I want you to find it, and I need to push you with gaining a new skill and opening up your life. You can open up your life Doesn't have to be the same. It shouldn't be the same. It's maddening. Don't do that. Listen to your gut. All right. Let's take one more. Let's take one. I keep singing. Gosh. Let's take one more. I know it sounds bizarre. Bushido, how do you know your calling? That's a great question. Can I even dive into that one? How do you know your calling? Bushido, you know your calling because it gives you energy. If you go to a location, 'cause how can I put it? Sometimes we know our calling, but the people aren't right for us where we are. That the place that we are at is not right for us, but that doesn't affect our calling. So, to answer you, our calling is it's almost like this gift that we naturally have excitement in, that a part of it's easy, not all of it's easy, but a part of it's easy where it's like when I do this, like I get a burst of energy. When I do this, like I light up. When I do this, I feel like I belong. I feel like I can actually interact with what I'm doing and I can see myself doing so much more. It's almost like when you're with it, you go, there's so much to be explored and you're curious about it, right? Like you almost think like I wouldn't be bored with this. I wouldn't. And of course, like you can go into different segments of what this one thing is, but ultimately, you know your calling is for you when it's almost like when you do it, you help other people. Or when you do it, that gift helps you. So that gift has so much energy behind it, right? It has so much energy that when you do it, you go, wow, I feel good. And I was able to help other people and people want it again. Or most importantly, I want to do it again, right? It's like your gift kind of opens doors for you. Sometimes it's not obvious that it's opening doors for you. But if you can think about anything in your past that you've had a lot of heart and excitement towards, um, did people like ask you for your help? Like, wow, that's really cool. Like, can you show me how to do that? Wow, that's really cool. Like, maybe we can hang out sometime and do it. So it makes opportunities where people want to be around you more. Okay. Because your gift, your calling, it's it's a rich um it's rich with energy. It's valuable. That's what I'm trying to say. It's valuable. Your calling is valuable. It helps. You're always valuable. You're always worthy, but it gives you like this vehicle to exercise that in a way that other people can recognize that too. If you know, 'cause the world is kind of sleeping with understanding the value of people sometimes, but we do things, we hold certain energy, we execute certain energy, and the world or an individual person goes, wow, can you do that? Right. And then we got to have boundaries with people, with locations. And with some people, we say no because they won't respect us. Even if we have this beautiful gift, even if we're helping them, we have to say no to some things and some people. Okay. So it's not, it always comes back to how do you feel with what you're doing and how do other people respond to it? And what does that make you see when other people are being helped through your gift? Okay. Lot of great. I was just like, I feel like I want to share a story. Really small, but and again, this is not even my story, but it's like a cool story. Um, like Steve Harvey, I'm sure you're familiar with Steve Harvey. Like he has like these musings that he shares with his audience, and he talks about your gift will open doors. Your gift will open doors for you. And growing up, he knew this boy who mowed lawns for a living, and frequently he wasn't available to play with the other kids because he was hustling. Um, you know, he's like, I can't. I got some lawns I have to mow, and the kids would be like, okay, all right, that's cool, go do your thing. And they thought he was like a little odd, but that was his thing. And so he grew up, and apparently Steve Harvey still knows this person, and he's a multi-million dollar today because from mowing lawns, he started creating a mowing lawn business. And from that, he created and expanded his business to like multiple cities. I don't know if it's multiple states off my head, but it was multiple locations. And he even developed contracts with cities where he was the forefront. Who would get contacted if the city needed some type of landscaping, mowing, and then he even expanded that to actually being like a salt truck and plowing snow and everything. So this guy is, again, you don't go from mowing lawn to plowing snow, but this is over a course of years on how his gift of lawn mowing evolved his energy. Okay? So that's the whole thing. The world and the universe doesn't box you with who you need to be, but it will give you a vehicle with how you can open energy and how you can open doors. And you will feel that in the bones of your body. You will feel like, wow, that felt good. Wow, this is something that's fun. Don't let other people in situations and how they didn't understand you and they didn't get it, or if even the universe said to you in a test, do you really want to do this? Don't let that get in the way. If when you take out the environment, when you take out the people, that how you felt was great, how you felt was on fire. Okay? You got to hold strong with that. Because I feel like you have answers with what you want to do. I feel like you love the teaching. We talked about it a previous show. You love teaching. You love showing people what they're able to do with their will, with their mind. And you do that through that physical vehicle of martial arts. Now, will you be doing martial arts in 20 years? I would be curious about that, but I do know that there is an essence of that there martial arts is your vehicle to open up what you're supposed to do. It puts you in that place where you can go there and be those things. And so that's why you have to listen to that. It calls you. Okay? All right. I used to hear spirit, but not anymore. If you heard it before, you can still hear it. It might be a little bit of a mind riddle for you. Don't overthink it. But all you have to do is just sit and practice and show up, and you will hear spirit again. All you have to do is just sit, meditate, ask them to come to you. They'll come to you randomly, or they'll come to you the more continuously that you sit and you talk and meditate in their presence. But you have to put yourself in a place where you're asking them to come to you, where you're asking to hear from, you know, our guides and our family are huge helpers with how we talk to the spirit world. So ask grandma to come by, ask an aunt or an uncle who's passed to come by. But the stronger the heart connection is, the stronger that they can show you. And don't overthink it. Just go, I'm talking to my loved one again. And then once you have some type of an experience, again, don't overthink it, because this is not for other people. This is for you. This is your spiritual development. Then start working with your guides. Your guides will show you things and open up things. Okay, let's do one quick one really quick, like number. I'm just gonna talk about someone's numbers. I don't have their numbers down. All right, I'll pull a card. All right, pull a card for you, Jessica, and then that will be the final. Oh yeah, Katie, thank you. Katie, yeah. Yeah, there's sometimes, unfortunately, there's sometimes people coming in trying to reach out, message, or talk about readings. I feel that's what one person was doing on here. They just were blocked. That happens sometimes. People are just trying to take advantage of situations. Please don't respond to anyone who's, offering a reading. I'm doing it for free. Like, I show up here, I do it for free, I give back. Um, there's no reason why they should be here offering anyone a reading, especially if it involves payment. Like, if anyone ever wants a reading, you should go to the medium or the intuitive or the psychic. It shouldn't be the other way around. That's always a red flag. Okay, Jessica, let's pull a card. Okay. Okay, so I got the career vocation card and trusting yourself. Okay. So the path that you're on, Jesse Cat, you have to trust yourself. You have to make plans. You have to really kind of have this intimate relationship where you want to go with what you're doing. I feel like you do have motivation. It's just like you go, can I get from A to B? And yes, you can. You can get to A to B and then C. Okay. So a lot of it is like from an area of confidence. Sometimes you overthink things. So looking yourself in the mirror, building yourself up, and really having this healing with trusting and falling in love with you and what you're capable of. Okay? That comes in really strong. So um there needs to be more grounding behind how you can blossom your career. And that grounding comes from taking care of yourself, and taking care of your relationship with you. Okay? All right. That's coming in. Um Before we go, I'll show you kind of I always think this is fun. It always looks so silly, but here's a deck of cards that I made. Right? I have actual real cards too. Well, these are real cards. But I actually this is why I wanted to talk about cards. I made a deck of cards like over the years. I used to teach children who are intuitive and psychic and mediums how to read, and I'd have them make their own cards. And anyone can make their own deck. Anyone can make their own cards. They can, and it's honestly the best way to learn, because what happens is you pull from your own symbols, you pull for your own framework, your own experiences. And a card deck that you make yourself is just as accurate as other cards that you feel in tune and touch with, but it can really be special. It really can. And sometimes you can be more accurate because you just are more in tune with what you've created. It's intimate, it's connected to you. So, yep, I encourage you make your own deck if you've ever wanted to do it. Super fun, super helpful, and you really do embrace the meaning of looking for signs and symbols in the universe because you done it. Not just through buying a deck, but actually creating the deck, right? Fully embracing it. But we can talk about that further. I even have kind of tools and tricks for creating a deck meaningful to you too as well. But yes, before I go, I want to mention I am teaching a numerology class this month for anyone who's ever wanted to learn how to read numerology, not just learn about it, not just learn about the symbols, but actually to interact with people and start to read numerology. Yes, in the way that I do, but also in other ways and other understandings. And it's a super fun class. So please come on by. We have like a group that we're building right now. We have some people signed up, and we're building the class. So if you're curious, come on by my website, energeticsessions.com, or reach out and email me. You will see me here next week on Wednesday with Rosa Rea. We're going to be doing an interview with her. She's a fantastic healer, an energy worker, an intuitive as well. So I'll be happy to have her, and away we go. So please, I will see you in some capacity, and I hope all the readings today were meaningful and helpful. Please go with love, light, luck, and don't forget to live, everybody. Take care.